So duck breast, we're going to make it into prosciutto. So the process is basically covering the duck in a mixture of herbs and spices, and then rock salt. And the rock salt actually draws out a lot of the moisture that's in the duck breast. We do that for a couple of days, and then we take it out, and it looks like this. So fairly firm. The skin's a little bit softer now. What we do from there is we hang it for 2 weeks, and that just draws out the final bit of moisture that's in there. There's still a tiny bit of moisture in the middle, so when you're slicing it up, pretty well melts in the mouth. The duck fat just really melts. It's beautiful. So yeah.
Duck fat's something that's used quite a lot.
Yeah.
In a lot of dishes.
Yeah, for a good reason too. Yeah, rich and full of flavour, and just adds that extra element. So having that as a prosciutto dish on the menu is pretty exciting.
Fantastic. And you've chopped some cabbage here, which will be sauerkraut.
Yes. So sauerkraut's really easy. I'll show you how easy it is. It's a matter of chopping it. So for each red cabbage, we usually use 2 to 3 tablespoons of salt. It's really, up to your judgment. So for this amount, this is 2 cabbages. I'm going to use probably 4 to 5. Again, cooking's a judgment thing, so try it a few times, see how you go, sort of thing. And it's a matter of crunching it up, really massaging the cabbage, and you do this until the leaves go limp. The moisture starts to come out a bit more, and it's that moisture that you need in the fermentation process for making this cabbage sour. So sauerkraut is literally sour cabbage. So you just do all that together. So here's one I've prepared earlier. I always wanted to say that.
It's a good thing to say. And this is kimchi, isn't it?
Now this is the same product, but this is, you can see, quite limp, quite a lot of moisture happening there. Now this is the difference between kimchi and sauerkraut, is that the sauerkraut we leave on its own with the salt for up to a month, and then can go as long as 6 months or longer. And with kimchi you actually add a few different things, so soy, fish sauce, brown sugar, all those umami sort of flavours that bring out that rich, strong flavour. Spring onion and chilli as well. So as I was saying before, the chilli part was only a thing that was invented or incorporated into the dish into the 16th century when the Japanese invaded Korea. So it's just a nice mix of cultures, and it's known as Korea's national dish. So yeah.
Fantastic. And that will only have to sit for a week?
Yeah, only about a week, whereas the sauerkraut obviously takes a little bit longer and at room temperature. So I guess that's the difference there. This one's easy to make. You can leave this up to 4, 5, 6 months. What they used to do was put them into the crock pots as well and do it like a sauerkraut, and that's where it gets really funky and crazy. So what I'm doing now is making a few batches in the lead up to the event. So if I want to go super funk, we can go that at the start and really blow people's minds, or we can go something a little bit more simple, refined, and things like that. So
yep. So what do we? This the fish, was that soy or fish sauce?
That's soy.
Yep.
So that's rich in umami. Not gluten free, unfortunately. Got some brown sugar here as well, which adds to a bit of sweetness. This is the fish sauce. Again, that's umami, and that's a fermented product as well. So it's really no measurement. It's just a matter of feel. We've got some spring onion as well. Add that in, and we've got a mix here of cayenne pepper and chili powder. It's probably about 100 grams, and 80% of that is chili, the rest is the pepper. So we want this to have a fair bit of a kick to it. Now I also want some floral characters as well, so it's nice and fragrant, I guess. So I want a stronger spring onion flavour. I've got spring onion powder here, so it's just the same stuff. I've just dehydrated it for a day, and it's a lot richer flavour.
It's got a fantastic smell to it.
Yeah. And this is rose petal powder. So rose petals from my mother's garden, so we know there's no pesticides on them. Unfortunately, they didn't have any roses out in their front gardens this year. stole them all. So
Locally grown though.
yeah. So just add a little bit in there. You don't want it to overpower, and again, that's quite rich.
It is, and as you expect, very flowery.
Very flowery. So it's very nice. And then yeah, it's just a matter of mixing it all up. Now the process for this kimchi is you leave this salted cabbage overnight, and then you add the other ingredients. So it just adds that extra bit of flavour.
So you're between two ideas for dessert at the moment?
Yeah, I'm undecided at the moment. So I've got a few ideas at the moment. It's probably going to be based around yogurt. Nice lactic fermentation, fairly simple to do. So one of the ideas is based around a rosewater pasta, so quite floral, and that's where the rose powder will probably come into play again, and using the yogurt as something like a dressing. So rosewater pasta was actually used quite commonly again in the 16th century. One of the guys who was a cook for two of the popes wrote one of the first cookbooks that featured, I think it was the first cookbook in the world that featured a picture of a fork. So I was just looking up through some of his recipes, and one of the big recipes back then was rosewater pasta. So I thought maybe, nice and light and floral could work with a dessert.
So the event is in March at the Gold Mines Hotel?
Yeah, so 6 courses, 6 drinks, 15th of March. Starts at 6 and should finish around 10:30. And the idea is that we're going to have a bit of a pop-up restaurant out the back there. So we're working out of this kitchen, but changing up the look and feel of the place out the back. So just making it a little bit more fun and playful, and obviously with topics such as fermented stuff, you want it to be nice and light-hearted because some of the dishes might be challenging. So
have you had a think about the rest of the menu? We've got some kimchi, sauerkraut.
Yep.
What else can we expect?
Looking at doing something like a mentaiko, which is a salt-cured fish roe matched with shoshu. So that's a Japanese-style fermented beverage as well. So distilled, a bit different to sake, where sake is like a rice wine. Shoshu's distilled and has a bit more, rounder, fuller flavour. And it's something you can make out of things like sweet potato and stuff like that. So it's a nice and fun drink.